Welcome to the 10th day of the Pioneer Marathon. We're whittling down the decks here. We've added Alta Biscuit's mill deck, which I did change a bit, so I'll go over that if we hit it. But we're pretty low on the list. I really hope Garuda combo is actually good. So without further ado, let's spin and see what we hit. Oh, would you look at that right off the bat. It's Mill by Alta Biscuit. So, if you guys weren't aware, yesterday we hit the viewer brew option on the wheel, where I said, hey viewers, submit me your ideas, submit me your deck lists, and I will take a look at them and put that on the wheel. So Alta Biscuit sent a mill combo deck, and that's what we're going to be playing first today. So this is a mill deck in a bunch of quotes, because not really. It's mainly just the combination of Fraying Sanity and Teresian Mindbreaker. So what does this do? Fraying Sanity is a 3-mana enchant player aura, and it says at the beginning of each end step, enchanted player mills X cards, where X is the number of cards put into their graveyard from anywhere this turn. Teresian Mindbreaker is a 7-mana 6/4, but not really, we'll get to that. Whenever Mindbreaker attacks, defending player mills half their library rounded up, and it has Unearth for 1 blue, blue, blue. So, if you've enchanted your opponent with Fraying Sanity, and then you get Teresian Mindbreaker in your graveyard, you can Unearth it for 4, attack them, they mill half their deck, then on end step, Fraying Sanity triggers, they mill the other half of their deck, you pass the turn, they lose the game. So that's the main combo here. So obviously, we need to do two things. We need to not die before we get to this combo. We need to assemble this combo, and we need to find a way to get Teresian Mindbreaker in our graveyard. So we've got Consider, which is just a cheap cantrip, but also can maybe put this in our graveyard. Not usually, but maybe. Fatal Push and Thoughtseize, of course, as is mandatory in all black decks. We've got Philology Archaeologist. 2 mana, 0/3, enters, mill 3, put a non-creature, non-land card from among the milled cards into your hand, and if you don't, put a +1 counter on it. So the idea here is we mill the cards over. Hopefully we mill Teresian Mindbreaker into our graveyard, and if we mill Fraying Sanity over, we get to pick that up, and then it can just find anything else as well. We have Ledger Shredder, which can, of course, connive the Teresian Mindbreaker into our graveyard, but it also just helps us find Fraying Sanity, filter through our deck, and is itself just a legitimate threat that may win the game on its own. We have 1 Maddening Cacophony, 2 mana, opponent mills 8, but if we kick it, so it costs 6 mana, opponent mills half. So usually, we're not going to ever play this for 2 mana. You might if you have like multiple Fraying Sanities, but usually you're not. This is primarily so that you have a spell that can just kill your opponent. If for whatever reason the Mindbreaker can't get you there. 1 copy of Moment of Truth, 2 mana instant, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand, 1 into your graveyard, and 1 on the bottom. So it's another card that just filters and helps us try to find stuff, and we can potentially put Teresian Mindbreaker in the graveyard. 2 Go for the Throats as more removal, and then 4 Tainted Indulgence to loot cards and potentially put Mindbreaker from our hand into the graveyard. And then we've got sideboard, various blue-black cards, blue-black mana base. So the main changes that I made to Alta Biscuit's version. So Alta Biscuit had a Gyre Reach Sanitarium in the main, which I understand the idea because it helps you filter and it helps you discard Teresian Mindbreaker. And he had a different configuration of lands. He had a Hall of the Storm Giants, and he had more basic lands than just 1 of each. So I changed a lot of that. And the main line of thinking here is, I doubt this deck is going to often get to the point in the game where Hall of the Storm Giants matters. I wanted more black sources, more guaranteed black sources for the turn 1 Thoughtseize / Fatal Push. And the fact that you need triple blue for Teresian Mindbreaker also means the deck is very color hungry. So I didn't want to play a colorless land, and I wanted just more things that could be blue sources. So I changed the mana base around to accommodate that. Alta Biscuit also had 2 Moment of Truth and only 3 Philology. I just switched that to the full 4 Philology. I think they're just better than Moment of Truth. But the rest of the main deck I kept the same. And then I made some changes to the sideboard. So the sideboard right now is Change the Equation and Mystical Dispute for the counterspells, Cling to Dust and Soul Guide Lantern for Graveyard Hate, Rave Enfeeblement to hit aggro decks, usually white, and then Extinction Event and Ritual, so again, sweepers for aggro, Unmoored Ego to cranial extract stuff out of our opponent's deck, and Ashiok as a way to beat Lotus Field. So I believe Alta Biscuit was not playing any of this stuff. So So he had all of these cards, and he wasn't playing any of these. So instead of Soul Guide and Cling to Dust, he was running Leyline of the Void. I understand the idea, but I think Leyline of the Void is not necessary. And I don't want cards that are dead cards later in the game. Now, obviously, I can, like, if you draw Leyline of the Void later, you can just loot it away with Tainted or Ledger Shredder. But I wanted more active graveyard hate that I could use at instant speed outside of just being in the opening hand. Alta Biscuit also had 2 Spell Pierces in the sideboard. I don't think the deck needs 6 counter spells, so I cut those. He didn't have Unmoored, and I want a Cranial Extraction effect for combo decks. And then 1 Ashiok. So this could be Damping Sphere, since Damping Sphere also hits Nykthos ramp. But the problem with Damping Sphere is it dies to Besage You. So this is a one-of for Lotus Field, and just stops Lotus Field dead pretty much. They do have Otawara, so they can still get rid of it, but it at least is harder to get rid of. There's a bunch of other synergies here as well. So Fraying Sanity triggers for the opponent's cards going to their graveyard for any reason at all. It doesn't specifically have to be Mindbreaker. So you will incrementally mill them. The sanities also stack on each other. So if you have multiple sanities, the first one will trigger based on however many cards you milled, and then the second one will trigger based on milling from the first one. So it will mill twice as many, and then, you know, multiplicatively more if you find more Fraying Sanities. However, Fraying Sanity also has gigantic downsides because your opponent's decks have lots of graveyard synergies. So Arclight Phoenix wants to put Arclight in the graveyard, and it wants to put Delve Fodder into the graveyard for Treasure Cruise and Temporal Trespass. Neoform Atraxo wants Delve Fodder for Tasigur and Hooting Mandrills. Rakdos sometimes plays Kroxa, and they can get Kroxa out of their yard. There's lots of decks that just incidentally have a bunch of graveyard synergies, and this can become detrimental, so you do need graveyard hate for those decks. Again, I'm not sure whether Leyline of the Void is the correct move or not, but I just tend to dislike cards that are so variance-based, where is it in your opening hand, then it's great. Is it not in your opening hand, then it sucks. Also, Cling to Dust at least draws you a card, whereas Leyline doesn't do that. Anyways, I think that's basically everything about the deck broken down. So let's jump into the first league of the day with Mindbreaker Mill. And as a reminder, since this is a viewer brew, any success that we have is entirely my doing, and any losses that we suffer is entirely Alta Biscuit's fault, so be sure to blame them. All right, we're on the play. This is fine. We'll keep this, and we've got turn 1 Thoughtseize into Ledger Shredder, and we can then discard to Region Mindbreaker. So Shipwreck Marsh is a bit awkward. Thoughtseize the opponent. All right, it's Greasefang, and we've got multiple Greasefangs and Witherblooms. I guess I take Witherbloom because it gives them fewer shots at being able to, so like they only get 1 shot at milling over stuff, right? I don't have any removal in my hand. Yeah, let's just take a Witherbloom and then pass it back to them. Why does the hand reveal show you both sides of double face cards? All right, back to us. Well, that's awkward. So let's consider now. I'm going to bin anything that's not a land. That's not a land, so bin that. All right, Shipwreck Marsh, go. Second land, and then they just cast Witherbloom, Drain Mill. Drain Mill, they did not hit a vehicle. All right, still missing a land here is pretty rough. Tainted Indulgence gives me the best shot at finding lands, so let's go Tainted Indulgence. All right, there's a land, so let's discard Mindbreaker. Then we will play this and pass with Consider up. Blooming Marsh, Greasefang. All right, Consider, Ledger Shredder on top. I don't want that at this point, so bin that. All right, so now Ledger Shredder into Philology will give me the most shots at seeing Fraying Sanity. So let's go Ledger Shredder, and then Philology, trigger Connive, discarding... I don't need the Maddening Cacophony because I just have Mindbreaker, so I can discard Maddening. So discard Maddening, then resolve Philology. We hit Fraying Sanity. All right, so get Fraying Sanity, go. And we win in 2 turns, so we have to survive 2 turns. Rafine's Informant. They slammed that super fast, so hopefully we're not just dead. Well, there's Parhelion. Yikes. All right, so let's see. This is 13, so I technically don't have to block. Then this bounces back, and then I have to block 3 things, or 4 things rather. All right, no blocks. We're at 1. Bounces back to their hand. Okay, so 2 blocks and a Fatal Push, and then I'm still dead, so I have to find a different card. I can't just play Fraying this turn. If I'd drawn a land, I could have Otawara'd as well, but I didn't. So yeah, I just need to find another removal spell, I guess. So let's go Moment of Truth. Well, that's another blocker, so that's basically the same thing. So put 1 in hand. one in the graveyard. So then I need to play Otawara, play Philagi, trigger Connive. Well, I can't cast Thoughtseize, so it's been that. Philagi trigger, get back Consider. So even if I block this, I don't know what I can do after that, even if they don't have Parhelion again. So I guess we just pass it back to them. So it's block, 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 Fatal Push an Angel. And then we're still having problems next turn. Swing, so go to blocks. This has to block an Angel token. This has to block here. This has to block here. And then Fatal Push Angel token. And then we still have to block 3 guys is the issue. Sheoldred? All right, well, we're dead. Is Sheoldred stock in Greasefang now? All right, well, we got greased. We got greased up. So what am I playing? Cling to Dust and Soul Guide to prevent them from bringing stuff back. Raven Feeblement to kill Greasefang at instant speed. Is Unmoored Ego good here? Yeah, you can Unmoored Ego the Greasefang, but then they still just have a mid-range beatdown plan, but that's probably still good enough. And then I'll just cut those on the draw. So 4 things need to go. I never have any way to guarantee that I can get Revolt on the push. So I don't want push. And what else? Consider's probably the most cuttable card in the deck. Although maybe one's better than Moment of Truth. I'm not sure. It's cheaper. Can't cut the combo. I don't want to cut Ledger Shredder. Let's cut Moment and 2 Considers. All right. So on the play for game 2. All right. This is fine. So keep... I'm going to turn 1 Soul Guide just so that I always have protection. I guess no. Is turn 1 Soul Guide even good? They have Witherbloom command. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I can't not play it because they might have removal for it. So Soul Guide, go. Razorverge Thicket. Pass back to us. All right, shock this in, and it's probably better to just play Ledger Shredder. Back to them. Unlicensed Hearse. Well, that kills our main plan. Actually, it doesn't, because if we get up to enough mana, we can find a way to discard and then immediately bring it back. We just can't discard it right now. That does mess up a lot of what we're trying to do, though. I should probably Connive now. So let's see. I can't Connive now, though, because I don't have the mana to do it. So I go Philagi. Then I can't cling anything because they can just eat it in response. All right, Philagi, trigger, 2 Ledger Shredders. All right, get back Tainted Indulgence. And then go to combat and attack with Ledger Shredder. Then they eat that with Hearse, whatever. What can you do? Probably just pop the Soul Guide Lantern to draw. 3rd land. Thoughtseize us. Nothing we can do about that. So, yep. Took one of our Tainteds. Traverse, trigger the Ledger Shredder. All right, well, I guess I am just going to discard Mindbreaker because I'm not going to be able to use it. Yeah, all right. So discard that. That resolves. So I got a Swamp. This is probably the best time to use Cling to Dust because I can cling one of their own cards, and then if they want to deny me that Cling to Dust, they have to Hearse their own graveyard, which they probably want to leave this up to just eat our stuff, right? All right, I'm going to cling their Traverse. See if they respond to this. Nope, they did not respond. Okay. Yeah, now they're just going to eat both of these. That's fine. Back to us. So I can go Philagi Tainted, Connive Trigger, or I can go Tainted Philagi. I don't know. Right, Underground River, play Philagi, trigger. We bricked on that? Man, that's awful. 3 lands. I don't see myself beating them unless I just get this Ledger Shredder up bigger. So resolve this. Well, it's another land. Draw 2 cards, discard another land. Go to combat, swing. This Hearse is also going to become ridiculously big. So I probably can't even race it. Like if they just play Essica's Chariot here, we're in big trouble. Sheoldred, that's also big trouble. All right. Man, it makes our Ledger Shredder horrible. Well, we got to try to find Go for the Throat. So Philagi again. It bricked again. Oh my god. 2 Philagis bricking in a row. That is just terrible. Let's see. Again, my only out is pretty much just trying to find Go for the Throat here. So let's just draw. Yeah, Sheoldred hits us. What are we going to do? Well, Thoughtseize is at least something. Thoughtseize the opponent. Connive. We take more damage. So we're at 10 already. Or 10 next turn, rather. Double Chariots. Well, we're losing this game. So let's see. I guess I'll take one of the Chariots. They just have Greasefang in their deck, though. And they get to play back-to-back Chariots. All right, take a Chariot. Whatever. Play this. Attack with Ledger Shredder. Yeah, Hearse eats the things. Then we attack with the Ledger Shredder. And now on their turn, they have Sheoldred and Chariot. So they go Chariot, Crew Hearse, attack for a whole bunch. So technically I can what? If they attack with Sheoldred, I can hold everything back and I can go Ray. So it has no power. Block all on it. And that kills it next turn. All right, I have to chump this. Here comes the Chariot. Fraying Sanity. All right, enchant you. And then just pass. Takes more with the Hearse. So they have to attack with Sheoldred here or we lose. I guess no, I could draw what? I'm actually 1 mana off of Maddening, so I can't do that. Witherbloom puts us to 6, and if they just play another spell, we're forced to Connive. Crewing the Hearse. Oh, and it's an 8/8, so I can't do my multi-block of this. How do I get out of this? They're attacking with the Hearse, right? So I have 1 turn to try to get Breaker into my graveyard after I've already lost 2 of them. I either have to block this or ray it. I can multi-block the Chariot and then ray this and go to 4, and then we're dead. I have to block something here, then here. Even if I ray this, it doesn't matter, because then we're drawing nothing. What could I possibly chain spells into? Just nothing, right? Like, I can't think of anything I could chain. I'd have to, like, consider into a land ray exactly hit Teresian Mindbreaker. I guess that's my only out. Witherbloom, okay. We're at 4. So now I can't Shredder anymore because Shieldred. If I drew Go for the Throat, maybe I could kill that. Let's see, what do we draw? A Dark Slick Shore, so we're just dead. All right, we got Grease. Unfortunately, this wasn't the David and Goliath story we were hoping for. Hero Homebrew gets taken down by villain megacorporation Greasefang. All right, we're on the play for round 2. Let's see if we can win this one. Looks pretty good. Got multiple removal, got fraying. Keep this. Land and go. Island. I smell a spirits player. All right, Philology Archaeologist. Trigger. Opponent opts. All right, not a spirits player then. Fatal Push. And back to the opponent. Lava Guide Pathway. Okay, it's Phoenix. Gotcha. Well, playing Fraying Sanity here feels like a surefire way to lose. Probably better to just Philology and then push that. Philology. We bricked. All right, kill this now. Go ahead. I wonder what the brick rate on Philology is, because we've milled 3 lands in a row 3 times now. A 4th Philology. Jeez. All right, attack with the 1/4 Philology. Go, Hero Philology. It'll only take us 20 turns to kill them. All right, Philology. Mill Consider over. Sure, take that. Pass to the opponent. Hopefully the deck doesn't fall on its own face. I've tried various color combos, and blue-black and blue-white seem to be the most promising because they can loot and interact the best, but the combo itself may just be too difficult to assemble or too fragile. Well, we get Phoenixed. I can't push it because, you know, no revolt. Even if I could, what does it matter? All right, the fact that our opponent's just hard casting a Phoenix here is like, I guess let's just Fraying Sanity them. Combat. Attack with the 1/4. Tap land. Another hard cast Phoenix. Yep. I guess that's the plan they on. All right, go to 11. Another Fraying Sanity. We can't afford to just keep getting hit by these guys, though. So, let's see. I can't believe I'm not drawing lands either. Let's play Consider. Hoo-hoo! Graveyard. Land. Swing. Back to the opponent. So they do play Lightning Axe, so our plan is not foolproof. All right, go for the throat one of them. Take 3, go to 8. 3 mana. Pieces of the puzzle. That Treasure Cruise opt. They digging for that Lightning Axe. Fraying Sanity, mill more cards. All right. Unearth the Mindbreaker. Go to combat. Go to combat. Come on. 1 time. No! Man. Okay. Attack with Philology. And now we're at 6 because I had to pay double Underground River. So now we're just dead to this Phoenix in the yard. Man, that would have been so awesome. Yeah, all right. I don't need... They have 3 spells. I don't need to see it. Sideboard. Mystical Dispute. Soul Guide. Cling to Dust. Ashiok? Ashiok's pretty good at eating their graveyard. I don't think I want to ego anything. They'll just bring in other threats. All right, what's bad? Fatal Push kills their 2-drop creatures, which we do actually need to kill. They also may bring in Crackling Drake. I'm not sure. I think overall I can get rid of Go for the Throat, though. Cut that. They probably have, what, some number of a Braid or something that they can use to eat Breaker, maybe their own Graveyard Hate and Hearse or something. What is bad? 1 of these and 2 Considers. All right, let's run that. On the play. All right, this is fine. Keep Dark Slick, Thoughtseize. Arclight, Treasure Cruise, Thing in the Ice. I don't actually have an answer to Thing in the Ice right now. So I guess I take Thing in the Ice. Yeah, take Thing in the Ice. And then over to them. Spire Bluff with Consider open. Well, I just drew Fatal Push. Okay. All right. Play this, play Ledger Shredder. Ledger Shredder's got to be great against them. Their whole deck is built around casting multiple spells. They drew it. All right, back to them. Second, Spire Bluff. They drew Thing in the Ice. All right. Doesn't matter. We get to murder it. Philology. Triggers. Fatal Push. Shock. Fatal Push. Trigger Ledger Shredder. What am I binning? I guess Cacophony. Die, Thing in the Ice. All right, attack for 2. So back to them. Otawara into play. Pieces. They milled over an Arclight. What in the world are they going to take here? They took Charticourse and Treasure Cruise, so didn't care about the counter spells. All right, what am I doing? I'm probably mystical disputing the treasure, one of the cruises, right? So let's just go to combat. Swing. Opponent's at 16. So now they'll attempt the treasure cruise. No land that can be used to pay for it. Oh, hard cast and arc light. Sure. Will they attack? They will attack. All right, sure. Take it. So end of turn. Let's consider. Don't really need a random land, so it's been that. Draw Mindbreaker. All right, Tainted Indulgence. Connive trigger. Connive this away. Get a counter. Tainted Indulgence. Get rid of that. Back to us. Thoughtseize. I'm losing this race, though, so let's see. Am I just going to play defense now with the Shredder to block Arclight Phoenix? I guess? All right. Yeah, they have multiple cruises, right? I need to Thoughtseize them. Crackling Drake as well, which I cannot answer. I do have push, but I have no way of enabling revolt. So, but then they get to double cruise. All right, let's just take Drake. All right, I guess I just pass back to them and hold dispute up to try to counter treasure cruise. Another land, so now we can't even dispute them. I have to double dispute, and then they still have another cruise. I guess I double dispute the first cruise, and then the second cruise doesn't have any more delve fodder. Treasure cruise, dispute. So I pay the 3, dispute again, connive trigger. Ooh, a Thoughtseize. All right, definitely keeping Thoughtseize. Let's get rid of push. Fraying Sanity. So let's just drop that, and then if I draw another land, they're dead. Fraying Sanity, go. Consider. Galvanic Iteration, connive. Get rid of Philology. So they're going to Galvanic Charter Course? Yeah. All right. Discard Steam Vents. Discard Hall of Storm Giants. Then they get their Phoenix back. Another land. So if they drew exactly Lightning Axe, they survive. Fraying Sanity. Mill a bunch. All right. On Earth. Attempt combat. Swing. Trigger. Milieu. Huzzah! We have done it. But now we must win the third game. Is Ego good? It just can't be, right? They have too many disparate threats. They have Arclight and Crackling Drake, and they may also play Saheeli. These Fatal Pushes have really not been very good. Like, they just have the problem of there's too many things they can't hit. So let's swap the Go for the Throats back in and cut Fatal Pushes, and then what else? But like, if they just play Thing in the Ice, I do have to be able to answer it, so I can't just cut all my removal. The creatures, the Philology Archaeologist being a blocker is basically irrelevant. Most of their creatures just fly anyway. So let's bring Moment of Truth back in. And then I think that's fine. Is Extinction Event good? Are all of their creatures even? Arclight, Crackling Drake, Thing in the Ice. If they play their own Ledger Shredder, and the tokens, so I guess it does kill everything. It also kills my stuff though, but it exiles the Phoenixes permanently, which may be relevant. What would I cut for that? I guess that's where I get rid of Fatal Push. All right, submit that. This is rough. It does just have all the lands that I need though. 5 lands, Soul Guide. The Soul Guide can redraw. It's also good against them. All right, I'm gonna keep Hall of Storm Giants. Back to us. We drew Maddening. I guess I just don't play Soul Guide until they present a card that I can get rid of. All right, so pass back to them. Consider. Keeps it on top. Second Hall of Storm Giants. Thing in the Ice. All right, Philology. Trigger. Let's grab Extinction Event or Thoughtseize. Extinction Event's the only answer I have to Thing in the Ice right now, so let's grab Extinction Event. Go ahead. Chart a Course. Discards a land. Spire Bluff. Back to us. All right, let's go. So they can maybe flip this next turn, but what else am I going to do? So let's go Ledger Shredder into Soul Guide so they can't get Phoenixes back. Connive Trigger. I should bin a land here. Soul Guide hits the field. Exile, I don't know, Chart a Course. Then pass to them. So they can always flip Thing and then Lightning Axe on our Ledger Shredder. Sure. They had to discard a land to do it. Should I pop this now? They're close enough to casting Cruise, but I think that's fine. They'd have to tap out for it, and then I can Extinction Event. There's always a tension of when do you do it. Opt. Trigger. They can play a third land and then do it. Third land. Chart a Course. So that puts 7 cards in their yard, and then they can cast Treasure Cruise. I guess I can't do it in response to this, though. I have to wait and see if they put Phoenix in the yard or not. This bounces this back. All right, they're going to go to combat? Sure. I'm going to pop this now. Keeps them off of Cruise. Obviously, if they have Spell Pierce, they can just Spell Pierce our Extinction Event, but what else are we going to do? Cast Extinction Event. Choose even. All right, back to them. I feel like they might have just cut Spell Pierce against us. I'm not sure, though. Arclight Phoenix hard cast. So then they attack us to 10. And then we go Ledger Shredder, Philology. Am I playing a land and discarding Maddening here? I'm not sure. Play Philology, trigger, Connive. Well, there's Fraying Sanity. So what are the odds that we resolve this? All right, let's discard Consider. This is now big enough that it can block their Phoenix. All right, take Cling to Dust. Is it more important to hold up Dispute or Cling? Probably Dispute. So play that, go. Lightning Axe on our guy. Yep. All right. Nothing we can do about that. So they hit us again. They are pretty low on cards. We're at 7. Plays pieces. All right, counter that. Ooh, all right. New Ledger Shredder. Fraying Sanity on them. Connive. Discarding Cling to Dust. And then play land and go. And then if they don't have a counter spell, we win. Are they going to attack with the Phoenix? No. All right, well, I say let's go for it. Cast with Kicker. Maddening Cacophony, do you have a counter? It resolved. The only out they have is Otawara. End step? No, they have Otawara. And by doing that, I milled 2 more Phoenixes into their yard. Consider. Plays a land. Tapped. All right, okay, they don't have 3 spells, I guess. All right, Fraying. Shock and Watery Grave. Unearthed Mindbreaker. Go to combat. Swing. We did it! Yes! I'm talking about. We beat Phoenix. Okay. On the play for round 3. Ooh. All right, keep. So turn 1, consider. Turn 2, Ledger. Turn 3. Maybe I don't consider. Maybe I just hold it so I can Ledger Shredder the Mindbreaker into my graveyard. Because then it's turn 2, Ledger. Turn 3, Philology, consider. Mill that. All right, Watery Grave, tap, go. What are we up against? Blood Crypt. Oh no, Thoughtseize. So I don't know what's in their hand, but I probably would take Ledger Shredder, right? Yep, took Ledger Shredder. All right, Philology, trigger. Push, Tainted, go for the throat. Let's get Tainted. Back to them. Castle Lockdwain. Misery's Shadow. Very well. Ooh, Fatal Push. All right, so land, go. And then we're just going to push plus Tainted. Goes to combat, and we can force them to pay mana that they don't want to pay. Block, Fatal Push you. All right, we have successfully made them waste a mana. Another land. Blood Tithe. All right, cast Tainted Indulgence. Discard Mindbreaker. We got Fraying Sanity. We got Mindbreaker in the graveyard. Fraying Sanity on you. Dark Slick. Go. Pops the blood. Digging for an answer. Only thing we lose to is Graveyard Trespasser. They have 3 mana. Shocking and Blood Crypt. Thoughtseize us. Takes Consider. Blood Tithe attack. No blocks. Go to 17. Ooh, okay. Let's just Thoughtseize to make sure they don't have anything. Thoughtseize. What do you got? All right, neither of those matter. Unearth. Go to combat. Swing. Mill half your deck. Main decking a Braid. Surprised they're letting us do this because now we just see their whole library. All right. So pretty stock Rakdos midrange. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, let's see. They do have a Kroxa in their deck, but just 1. So let's play the Sweepers. And what else? 1 Cling to Dust for Kroxa. And then what are we cutting? I want all my removal. So they have push and go for the throat. So Ledger Shredder can just get killed. That's okay, though. Also, Ledger Shredder atrocious against Shieldred. Although, if they have Shieldred, we're probably losing. So, if they have Shieldred and we don't have removal, we lose. So, let's go... I just cut all the Considers, I guess. Maybe Thoughtseize is bad? I don't know. Fable and Shieldred are important to take, as is Graveyard Trespasser if they board into that. All right, let's do this. Submit. Well, we've got both combo pieces and ways to get them in the graveyard, so definitely keep. Blood Crypt tapped. All right, Watery Grave tapped. Back to them. Castle Lockdwain. Blood Tithe. All right, play this. Go ahead. Take 3 from the Blood Tithe. Go to 17. Third land. No actions. Play Tainted Indulgence. Discard Mindbreaker. Fraying Sanity on the opponent. They have to have Graveyard Hate or they lose. Rummage the Blood. Gets rid of a Swamp. Swamp. No, Graveyard Trespasser. Okay. Well, So I guess it's Ledger Shredder and push the Blood Tithe. Cast, push here. Trigger, Connive. Discarding Dark Slick Shores. They're going to push us back. Yep. All right. So play Murkwater and go. Fraying Sanity. Oh, they have Kroxa in their graveyard? All right, we got to kill that. Duress, eat Kroxa. And then they Duress our Tainted Indulgence, and then they attack with Graveyard Trespasser and take the Cling. And then we're working with nothing. Culligan's Command? Oh, come on, really? All right, I guess I discard this then so that their Duress does nothing. So they just have Kroxa in their hand now. At least that's not as bad, although maybe they can get it back. Yeah, okay, so they take Cling to Dust. We go to 10. We've drawn nothing. All right, land go. If we top deck Cacophony, we win. So then this attacks and we go to 4, right? We go to 4. Kroxa hits the field. We have to discard a land. We go to 3 and we go to 5 here. Blood Tithe. They didn't bother to play Kroxa despite getting it back. I can't play this though. All right. Oh no, we're just dead on board. Yeah, we're dead on board. All right. Game 3. I don't think I changed anything. They have Graveyard Trespasser. We still have removal for it. Yeah, we just run it back the same thing. All right, what do we got? This hand's not very good. But it has 3 lands and a way to redraw, so I guess I'll keep. So turn 1, Watery Grave. Turn 2, Moment of Truth. Try to find something. Play this tapped. Go. Blood Crypt. Tapped. All right, back to us. Another Mindbreaker's bad. So land, pass back to them. Down to the Bugbear. No actions on their part. Cast Moment of Truth. Put 1 in my hand. Is it better to have Thoughtseize or Philology? This hand's not doing anything unless I find Fraying Sanity. Let's grab Philology. I can also just grab a Swamp and then cling my own... No, that can't be right. Let's grab Philology. Maybe Thoughtseize is correct. All right, let's take Thoughtseize. Let's put Swamp in my yard and that back. All right, Thoughtseize you. What do you got? 2 Fables, Graveyard Trespasser, 3 removal spells, 2 of which can kill Mindbreaker. Man, that is so rough. All right, I guess I take Graveyard Trespasser. So their hand is just set up to kill us. All right, take Graveyard and then play a black land and go. Plays the land, plays Fable. All right, we have to draw cards, so let's just cling Thoughtseize out of my yard to draw. Man, we're just drawing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right, play a tap land and go. All right, I presume they'll discard Go for the Throat. Yeah, Go for the Throat and a land. We take damage from the Shaman, and then they can just run out another Fable. Thoughtseize us. Sure, yeah, all these cards suck. You can take Mind Cacophony. Plays the second Fable. Yeah. Man, do I cast Extinction Event? These get to flip. One of these gets to flip over, but I can't just not do anything. I guess I do. Yeah, so let's go Extinction Event, name even, eat your tokens, go. So 1 flips, the other 1 loots, looting away Kroxa. That's bad. And 1 Abrade. All right, now Kroxa comes back. At least we get to discard Mindbreaker, at least. All right, discard Mindbreaker. Cling is 5 to escape, so I can't use it now. All right. Oh, no, it's also 4 mana. No, yeah, so I definitely can't use it now. All right, now what? Ledger Shredder. They still have an Abrade in their hand. So I play this, and then when they attack, I'll discard Mindbreaker, and then I get 1 look at Cling to Dust. All right, pass to you. This one flips over, attacks with Kroxa, trigger, discard Mindbreaker. No blocks, we go to 10. So I can cling, I have to eat 5 cards, and then I have to eat Mindbreaker. The Mindbreaker doesn't do anything anyway because I have Abrade. So cling, targeting, Extinction Event, I guess. Exile this. Yeah, all right. I just have to draw a card. Power Word, kill the Ledger Shredder. Sure. We drew a Thoughtseize. That's not helpful. Drew a Philology. All right. I guess I Thoughtseize them first to take their removal. Not that it matters. Then they get to make 2 Fables here, and we're dead. They have a Thoughtseize, a Duress, a Blood Tithe, and an Abrade. All right. I guess I take Abrade, play Philology. This is 2 copies. Yeah. So Philology, trigger. Fatal Push. All right, it does in fact answer Kroxa. So back to them. And they make 2 more reflections than they have. So I kill that. Yeah, kill this. And it doesn't matter because they just play Blood Tithe, haste it twice. Blood Tithe. Copy the Blood Tithe. And then they get to make another copy of Blood Tithe and another copy of Blood Tithe. All right, so it's 12 damage just off the Blood Tithes. Kill this. Lethal attacks. Yeah, that's pointless. All right, we're dead. On to round number 4. Gotta head out. Good luck with the rest of the games. Hope we get some more wins, or at the very least you have fun with it. I still don't know what the best shell for the combo is, but it may just be too easy to disrupt or too hard to find the pieces. So the only other thing I considered was maybe you could play Commune with the Gods, since that's 2 mana, top 5, you can find an enchantment, and then it mills the rest of them. So it's a way to find Fraying Sanity while milling 4 cards. But yeah, it feels too slow and too inconsistent. All right, double Thoughtseize seems pretty good. We are on the draw. What decks have trophied? We 5-0'd with Gruul Possibility Storm, and I forget what the other one was. All right, Nykthos it is, probably. So Hive, Thoughtseize, you. Oath, Troll. The Troll is actually not even that big of a problem. I can get Ledger Shredder out of range of it fairly quickly, although it's turn 3 is kind of rough, or turn 2 Troll is kind of rough. So let's just take the Troll, and then they have to at least Oath into more things. Oath Anissa. Nickel Bolas. Another Oath. Llanowar Elves. All right, well, we're Thoughtseizing Bolas. Take Bolas. And then against this hand, it's probably better to consider... No, I can just do that next turn. So tapped, go. All right, so they're in top deck mode. They do have the Beseiju. They found Lair of the Hydra. So now they can just dump all their mana into that. All right, so Shipwreck Marsh, Ledger Shredder, consider, trigger Connive. Well, I'm not discarding Fraying, so I actually need to discard Takenuma because I don't have triple blue unless I keep Watery Grave. So discard Takenuma, Surveil, get rid of that. All right, back to them. Are you making a video for the possible good cards from Wilds? You should have joined us earlier. I did a whole slideshow on that. So we Thoughtseized everything out of their hand. They immediately draw Lair into Cavalier. Amazing. And they found Nykthos and Storm. Okay, this is stupid. And they still have a Boseiju in their hand, so we still can't even win with Fraying Sanity. It's just ridiculous. All right, I have no idea what to do now. I think we just lose. Philology, go for the throat. All right, so we can go for the throat, the Cavalier, and then what? So take go for the throat, shock this in, and then I stop them on draw step and then go for the throat, the Cavalier, so they can't storm back this turn. All right, pass. What deck is this? This is Millbreaker combo. So draw, then go for the throat, Cavalier. So they have less Nykthos mana this turn, and then they are just going to put Storm back on top, presumably. Why are they adding a bunch of mana? Are they just going to make Lair huge? That's fine. I can just chump it. Yeah, Lair becomes huge. Sure. Cavalier, if I can find a way to make them put a card in the yard, I can Sanity and then mill that. They're putting Nicol Bolas back on top. All right. Forest. Attack with Lair. Block here. All right, let's see. I have Mindbreaker in my graveyard. I could just mill Bolas over right now. Let me think. If I mill it over right now, they keep 20, 21, 22 cards left in their deck, and then I'm still far away from killing them. If I ever... So, okay, how much mana do they have next turn? They have 5, 6, 7, 8. So they have Bolas, and then they still have 3 up, so they can still Boseiju. I can Otawara the Bolas. What does that matter? I can also activate Hive and get rid of Storm the Festival, although they're away from being able to cast it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they have 9 next turn. So Bolas comes down and does what? Blows up Ledger Shredder. That's okay. Like, that's fine. If I cast Consider, still have them on to Mindbreaker if I want to. I can't Thoughtseize them because Boseiju's in their hand. If I find a Fatal Push, I can go Fraying, push an Elf, then they mill the Bolas. All right, so let's do that. So cast Consider, Tainted Indulgence. Let's spin... How many types? How many mana values? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4. Graveyard that. Another Tainted Indulgence. Let's say I just go Fraying Sanity, and then they go Bolas plus Boseiju to kill Fraying Sanity, and then I have to find another Fraying Sanity. Or I just Unearth Mindbreaker and kill Bolas off. I don't know. So many ways this can go. I need to get to 7 mana to do this in 1 turn, and they can still have Boseiju open. It's also more mana efficient to go Philology into Tainted. All right. Philology, Connive Trigger, discard a land, resolve Philology, get back, push, or go for the... I guess go for the throat, right? Yeah. Get back, go for the throat. Play a land, combat, swing here. All right, so Bolas comes down now. They played the Boseiju. Okay. Whew. All right. Nicol Bolas. Draw a card. Each opponent exiles a card from their hand or a permanent. Let's Tainted in response. Tainted. Huh. I could just get rid of Philology. Like, that doesn't matter, right? Discard that. Then this ability resolves. I'm just going to exile Philology. They can animate their Lair into a 2/2. Oh, they drew Karn off the top? Amazing. So now they can Karn for Tormod's Crypt and we're dead. Drew Karn off the top. Insane. Yep. Tormod's Crypt. We can't unearth our guy anymore. What do I even do now? They have an active Bolas plus Lair of the Hydra to kill us. I can kill Karn this turn. And then they just Bolas shoot us. How much mana do they have? 4, 6, 9. If they draw any land, they can flash Storm back. I can activate Hive, and then Hive attack, exile Storm, kill Karn, put Bolas to 3 counters. I guess that's what I'm doing. All right. Animate Hive, combat, swing at Karn. Actually, if I just have Karn on 1, that's fine. So I attack Bolas, then they plus Bolas, which is also fine. So... And then we just kill them next turn. Swing at Bolas, swing at Karn. Trigger, eat, Storm the Festival. So then Karn goes to 1, Bolas goes to 2. They can't get anything back with... They can't tutor again with Karn. Bolas only can plus, can't kill our Ledger Shredder. So then it's whatever they draw for turn plus whatever they draw off Bolas. And we've lost 2 Mindbreakers, so that's probably not going to work. They can turn Lair into a 8/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Into a 7/7. If they plus Bolas, am I getting rid of a card or a land? A card. And I'm getting rid of Consider, I think. Oh, right. Bolas has Karn's abilities. I completely forgot about that. So now they can just grab Leveler. Yep, Leveler. Ledger Shredder dies. We can't even kill Leveler because Go for the Throat doesn't kill artifacts. So there was no way out there. I guess I just needed to get Karn off the board. And then Bolas would have been at 3 counters. Okay, sure, whatever. Now what? All right, Consider... Graveyard. There's Maddening, but we don't have a turn. I guess I have a turn, right? I can go for the throat this. Karn can just fetch Haywire Might, though. Oh, wait, anything I play just dies to Leveler. Yeah, so I don't have a turn. So if I animate Hive to kill Karn, I lose. All right, Tainted Indulgence. Fatal Push doesn't help here. Yeah, we're dead. I can't win. All right, sideboard. Change the equation. Unmoored Ego. Extinction Event. Cling to Dust. One of to eat storms. Cutting. Consider. Moment. Blocking them basically is irrelevant. That can't be right. Let's cut one, go for the throat. And all right, let's do that. Submit. On the play, we have Thoughtseize. Okay, we're good. 3 lands, Thoughtseize. Moment to find stuff. Dark Slick, Thoughtseize. What am I playing against? All right, let's just take their ramp. So Wolf Willow and back to them. Forest, Oath, finds another forest. All right, play this, go. Forest, cast Moment of Truth on their end step. All right, I guess I'm getting a Philology, putting this in the graveyard. Well, there's no reason to use Fraying Sanity right now, so let's just Philology, hold Cling to Dust up. Philology, trigger. We milled a Mindbreaker over, excellent. So I can win in 2 turns. Shock this in, go. Llanowar Elves, another land. All right, Cling your Wolf Willow to draw a card. Back to us. Shock this in, Fraying Sanity on you. Then I'm gonna go to my end step, allow the Fraying Sanity trigger to resolve, and then push the elf. All right, unless they have Beseiju, we win. Or Karn into Tormod's Crypt. All right, let's try it. Blue, 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 colorless. Go to combat, swing, trigger, mill a bunch. End step triggers. All right, we milled them. What's in their yard? What did they board in? Essica's Chariot. No clue why they boarded that. Mightstone. Everything else is the same. They boarded out Bolas, or it's in their hand. All right, same thing on the draw. Just run it back. All right, submit. Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Yeah, we're good. Keep Forest, Elf, double Thoughtseize. All right, Thoughtseize you. What do you got? So we take Wolf Willow and then take Karn. Plays Forest. They drew a Troll. Very well. Thoughtseize you. Take Karn. And then play this tapped and go. They can technically, like, maybe even beat us down. So now they're going to Nykthos. They have mana. Kiora, sure. We take 5 and go to 11. We are getting beaten down pretty fast. So I do need to start setting some stuff up here. So play this. Play Ledger Shredder. Go. At least this blocks the elf for now. And then next turn I can start, like, conniving up to higher power. Swing with Troll. No blocks. 7. All right. Shipwreck Marsh. Play Ledger Shredder. Tainted. Double Connive triggers. Another Shredder. Am I winning this game just without Fraying Sanity at this point? Maybe. Although if they ever find, like, value, then they can just start killing us. All right, let's discard the Shredder. 2 Shredders should be... All right, go for the throat's great. So let's ditch Fraying Sanity. I don't know. This makes 5, 8, 9 mana. If they ever find a bomb, then we're just, like, so out of it. I need to keep go for the throat. So the only question is, am I binning a land or fraying? Let's bin Fraying. Then resolve Tainted. All right, discard a land. And then I probably just have to wind up double blocking this Troll, as bad as that is. Maybe I still just don't even block it, and then just try to connive up next turn. I go to 3, but I can go to 3. If that was the case, I should have attacked Kiora. Whatever. Swing, no blocks, go to 3. All right, they still don't have anything, so what in the world are they going to do on upkeep that they're stopping me here? Drew Mindbreaker. So even if I connive both of these right now, I still can't get Kiora off the board, so it's probably correct to pass into their upkeep and then Fatal Push the elf. I'm going to have a blocker in Ledger Shredder, so let's attack Kiora with one of them. Is it correct to go for the throat this? Probably not. It's probably correct to go for the throat like a Cavalier or something. So I guess I'm going to play go for the throat all pretty much regardless of what happens. So yeah, let's attack Kiora. So get Kiora to 3, then pass, and then Fatal Push the elf in upkeep, and then go for the throat Old Growth Troll. Push your elf. I guess this makes 5. No, it makes the same regardless because the stupid troll just comes back. So it doesn't matter when I do it. All right, go for the throat. Black here. Connive triggers. Discard Mindbreaker. Discard a land I can't use. And then it just comes back. And then I get to attack Kiora to death with 1 and have 1 blocker left. Well, they finally drew some kind of bomb. Storm the Festival. Yep. Troll and Oath. So they get to draw another card. Oath into what? Beseiju. All right, all things told could have been worse, although they have Nykthos and a bunch of Devotion, so they do get to storm off next turn, I think. Land. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9. We drew a land. Oh, this is just stupid. All right, we got to kill Kiora. So combat, attack Kiora, and then leave this back to block them. And then just play a land and pass. And they have exactly enough to storm, right? 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Bola. So we just lose immediately because then they just kill Shredder and we die. All right. On to the last round. I think the major weakness of the deck I'm seeing is the fact its mana curve ends at 2. It needs to run more lands and can't really afford to run more interaction like counter spells. Mill is usually at its best when played like a burn deck and less like a combo deck. You usually want to curve out at 2 and run a few 3-drops like Fraying or Tasha's so you can run less lands and more ways to interact from my experience. I've tried running the pure mill as well and with still the combo, like Fraying plus Mindbreaker, but also just all the other mill cards, and it's not good enough either. You only have 1 crab and no fetch lands, which makes your early starts way worse. And there's more things that care about graveyard synergies in Pioneer than Modern, surprisingly. Modern's graveyard decks are basically just Kroxa if it's played as a one-of and Scam, and Living End. I think that's pretty much it. Whereas Pioneer has Arclight Phoenix, anything that's running the Delve spells, so not just Phoenix, but like Jeskai Ascendancy, anything that's running Treasure Cruise, Neoform Atraxa with their Delve creatures, Greasefang. They also have Kroxa, and Rakdos is more prevalent with more Kroxas. All right, keep this. We are on the play. Opponent's a Giganta deck. Opponent mulls to 5. All right, Thoughtseize. They are Sac. So let's see. I think I take Blood Tithe and Deadly Dispute. Yeah, take Deadly Dispute first. And then the cat comes down, and then we just take Blood Tithe. Blackcleave. They're not playing the cat. All right, Thoughtseize you again. Take Blood Tithe. Play this tapped. Back to you. Why wouldn't they just run the cat out if that's the only play they had? Oh, I guess they were planning to what? Blood Tithe into the blood token and then use the blood token to rummage that away? They're still just not going to play the cat. All right, another Thoughtseize. Well, I'm not Thoughtseizing them at this point. Although I could just Ledger Shredder Thoughtseize. Yeah, let's actually do that. Play Ledger Shredder. Like, the Thoughtseize is not going to get better as this game progresses. So, Thoughtseize, Connive Trigger, get rid of a land. Fable the Mirror Breaker. All right, back to you. The only time I've seen Mill be legitimately strong was in Hours Standard when combined with Persistent Nightmare and Blue-Black Control just being a strong archetype overall. Also was sort of strong in Pauper for a while when Jace's Phantasm was downsifted, which also made it briefly good in Core 13 Standard, back when you would actually Thought Scour your opponent. It's good enough in Modern. It's fine tier 2 deck. They took Fraying. Okay, well there's Mindbreaker, so let's just go Philology, Trigger. Let's grab the Fraying. Then attack with Ledger Shredder. Opponent goes to 17, back to them. Finally plays the cat. Plays Witch's Oven. All right, so Connive, put Mindbreaker into the graveyard. All right, land, Fraying Sanity on you. Attack with Ledger Shredder, I guess. And then we've got the kill next turn. Sacks the cat, brings the cat back, presumably. No, doesn't. Tap land. All right, so they're dead. Tasha's isn't good enough in Pioneer because there's too many high-value cards, especially when you consider decks like, you know, Phoenix has Treasure Cruise and Temporal Trespass. Nykthos has a bunch of expensive cards. Parhelion and Greasefang. Like, there's so many expensive cards. Swing with the Mindbreaker. Trigger. Mill half. All right, so the correct move is just to concede here because we get to see the rest of their deck. So let's see what they're running. All the usual suspects. Claim the Firstborn. Fable. Do they have a Kroxa? They do have a Kroxa. So they have 1 Kroxa. All right, so we want Graveyard Hate for Kroxa and Cat. We want Sweepers to eat all of their guys. I think Ashiok is... No, so how much do they rely on their graveyard? They don't actually rely on their graveyard that much, right? So it's just this, really? That might be overdoing it. I probably don't need Soul Guide. So this. And then what am I cutting? Again, I just cut Consider when I don't know, like, what to cut. They don't need to actually attack us that much. And the things that can attack us can attack into Philology. So the Philology is only blocking the cat. All right, let's run this. I considered, like, is it worth it to put Unmoored Ego in to try to ego their Mayhem Devils, but probably not. Double Fraying Sanity is interesting. I'm going to keep this on the back of Thoughtseize into Philology. Well, they're Thoughtseizing us. Takes our Thoughtseize instantly. All right. Play Dark Slick Pass. Blackcleave Cliffs. Plays Witch's Oven, but no cat. All right. Play Philology. Trigger. Well, our only option is to take Ritual of Soot. We milled a land and Ledger Shredder. Back to them. Plays Blood Crypt and shocks it in, and then that's the Devil or Fable. Deadly Dispute the Witch's Oven. Why would you shock before knowing what you're drawing? Huh. All right, well, seeing as I'm not doing anything else, I guess I'm just going to start Fraying Sanitying it up. So it appears like they shocked for no reason. I mean, maybe they were like holding Fatal Push open to kill Ledger Shredder or something, I don't know. But they didn't need to shock before casting Deadly Dispute. Whatever they've got going on, it's pretty slow. Rending Volley or Philology, that is fine. Like, okay, sure. We lost an 0-3. Deadly Dispute, again, on the Treasure. Once again, I don't know why you would cast Rending Volley first. So Duress Us, I assume now you'll take Fraying, but maybe they take the removal. Okay, now they took Fraying. So only one fraying is significantly worse because now this can randomly mill Croaks over. I guess it's not going to though. All right, land, just run out Ledger Shredder, back to them. Plays another land. They have 4 cards. Activate Hive, sure. I'll just kill that, it's fine. All right, push your Hive. So they know we have Fatal Push, so they did that knowing we'd kill it. Well, we're drawing garbage, so... All right, play this, combat, swing with Ledger Shredder. If we ever draw Maddening Cacophony, we get to kill them. Plays another land, tapped. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Witch's Oven, trigger Connive. All right, let's discard the land now, I guess. I have no intention of ritualing on this board. I do want this to be big enough to just block their Shaman, potentially. I don't know. How many cards do I... How many mana values do I have in my graveyard? I have black, 1, 2, 3, 4. So Soot would be 5, so I get to draw without discarding. All right, so discard Soot. So then Tainted Indulgence, I get to just draw 2 for no cost. There's Maddening, so they're dead. All right, land, kick this. Boom, half your deck. They brought in Obnix. Frank Sanity trigger, bam, mill the rest of your deck. All right, so only 2 and 3. It went better than 0-5 though, so I guess that's all we could have hoped for. So I think the problem is this is just way too slow. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. This isn't too slow. If you have turn 2 a way to get Mindbreaker into your graveyard, and then turn 3 Frank Sanity, turn 4 bring Mindbreaker back, that's a turn 4 kill. So that isn't too slow. The problem is that getting there is usually too slow. So you don't have any way of actually guaranteeing that you find these cards aside from just randomly cantripping, looting into them, randomly milling this over with Philology. And then, so a lot of times you wind up in situations where you just don't have both of these by turn 4 ready to go. And that winds up being too slow. And again, it's not like, so a deck like Greasefang, for example, they have cards like Grizzly Salvage that 5 cards mill over, and then they get to get back Greasefang, right? This deck has 3 cards mill over, and you get to get back Fraying Sanity, or draw 2, discard 1. So you're not seeing as many cards. Or you have to play Ledger Shredder, and then you have to play 2 more spells, so meaning you can't play Fraying Sanity on turn 3. So yeah, it's just too slow and inconsistent, I think. And then the rest of the deck is not really set up to win outside of that combo. So if your opponent just has answers to this stuff, like they board into instant speed artifact hate for Mindbreaker, or enchantment hate, or they just have Boseiju or Otawara to bounce, or they bring in like Graveyard Trespasser, you oftentimes have to mill over the Mindbreaker before you even have Sanity on the board, and then they just get a window to eat your graveyard. So if your opponent disrupts this plan, the rest of the deck is basically just Ledger Shredder is your only actual other way to win the game. And as you can see from those games, we were never anywhere close to being able to attack our opponent to death with Ledger Shredder. So it's basically this or nothing. All in on the mill plan or bust. You could maybe build this another way, like you could just forgo all of the control elements and just play pure mill, running Jace Perfected Mind, Ruined Crab, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, etc. Or you could maybe play green with Commune with the Gods, which would be this deck's equivalent of Grizzly Salvage from Greasefang. But I've looked at the cards in Pioneer, and it just feels like there's not currently a good enough way to build this combo. And then Cacophony at 6 mana is also just way too slow. But anyways, that wraps up the Mill League.